Okay, hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 27th of September 2019, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this Friday's morning session where we're going to have a quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest, and we can continue. Also, just a quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel here, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website, but specifically our JFD Bank research page, which you can always also check out on a daily basis. And I believe you can find a lot of useful stuff here, guys, for yourself. So feel free to visit. And yep, like I said, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you like it. Now, let's jump into the charts, guys. Now, the first one I want to touch on here is the FTSE 100. Now, looking at this picture here, and this is what I was talking about yesterday. So basically, we needed to see a nice, good, clear break and ideally a close above the 7,380 zone before we could examine further upside here. We didn't get that close yesterday. It closed below it, so we still keep an eye on this barrier, especially given the fact that looking at the cash index right now, it is kind of trying to make its way up again here, but it's still below the 7,380. So let's see how the market is going to open. It could be quite interesting to see this one pushing further north, but let's say if it fails to move above this barrier today, the 7,380, well, to be honest, then it could just remain inside this little range here, and probably could close the week here, and this could be dragging into next week. This range scenario could still be dragging into next week, and this is what we could be still looking at again next week. So for now, guys, long story short, basically continue keeping an eye on these two potential breakout points. On the downside, we still remain with the same level here around the 7,200 zone. A drop below this could in a way open the path towards lower areas, but if this decides to actually reverse, or should I say actually break the 7,380 zone, and at least close a 4-hour candle above this, then, well, it increases the chances for a further move higher, where we could then target the area around the 7,476 zone, and then we'll take it from there, see what he wants to do after. If he wants to travel higher, then that's good news for the buyers. We could see this one pushing towards the 7,535 zone, or even above that. But again, like I said, for now, the main question here is, will it actually break this 7,380 zone again? So because yesterday we did have a break, but it kind of quickly drifted back down below it. So if it stays around here, this territory will be somewhat of a neutral one for us. So we're going to keep an eye on it and wait for that break. DXY, another interesting index, but this time is a dollar index. So it moved nicely to the upside. So this is what I was talking about when last time I was covering DXY. So last time when I was looking at this one, we were getting held here near this 99.10 zone. The index was drifting a little bit lower. What I was expecting, maybe a drop a little bit lower here, but as you can see that it got held nicely by this little area of resistance, which previously acted as area of support, which previously acted as resistance, and that was near the 98.83 zone. So I think I've also mentioned that one, but I'm not sure. I'm not going to lie on this one. But anyway, it managed to reverse nicely from this area and pushed higher. It managed to test the 99.21 zone. I talked about this one. It did overshoot it a few times, but as you can see, it kind of failed to close a 4-hour candle above it. So again, we still have some room here for the upside because we are targeting this 99.37 zone, and that's basically around the high of the 3rd of September, or in other words, the highest point of September so far. Let's see, today's Friday. Of course, we'd still have 2 trading days in September to go. So today and on Monday, and yep, guys, it will be quite interesting to see if it actually can create a new high for this month. So that's why be very careful. You can see that the pair is already trying to kind of make its way up here. It still needs to overcome this 9.21 barrier. It remains currently above its pivot point, which could be seen as a positive. So in a way, for now, guys, yes, we will aim for higher levels, but if we get a nice good push above the 9.21 zone here, and in a way, for now, it could come in line with the whole DXY strength here, and with the whole dollar buying interest, and that's why, guys, for now, be very careful. Keep your eyes on this 9.21 zone. A nice good pop above it, yes, could open the path towards slightly higher levels, but still be very careful. This 9.37 zone, that's what we're targeting initially, because this is where the holdup could occur, unless it decides to overshoot it a little bit and then starts drifting back to the downside. So keep your eyes on this one. In terms of the downside itself, so what we're going to do here now, of course, this 98.75 level still remains quite an important one, but another interesting level is, of course, the one that I've just recently mentioned, is this 98.83 zone, which acted as a fantastic area of support. And again, this, if we get a drop below this level, then yep, we will consider a possible slide lower towards the this tentative upside support line taken from the low of the 20th of September. And basically, if we draw an arrow, that this is what I'm talking about. So for now, in terms of the downside, well, like I said, it's a bit of a maybe more conservative approach. I do understand we're missing out a bit of space here, but to be honest, it's better to be safe than sorry. So that's why keep your eyes on the 98.83 initially, then of course the 98.75, and then yep, if all these get broken, then we could see a further drift south here towards the upside support line, and probably by the time, let's say, this could decide to drift to the downside, we could see this 200 EMA approaching this upside line again here, and also could provide some additional support. So keep your eyes on this one. WTI Oil, I talked about this one recently, and we're still keeping a close eye on the levels, on our potential breakout levels here. So on the downside is the 55.60 zone, approximately around there, and the upside we do have the 57.33 zone, which in a way, from which I would say we could consider moving a little bit higher here. Not much. Initially targeting the 59.48, 50 zone, so approximately around there. But again, if the dollar continues to rise, well, to be honest, we could see this one getting hit a little bit, and we could see this one pushing below this 55.60 zone that I just talked about. So this would of course also place the commodity below the this upside line, and then yep, we could target further declines. We could target areas like the 54 zone or the 53 area as well. So keep your eyes on this one. Keep your eyes on the DXY, see how it performs, and let's see if we can actually squeeze something out of WTI as well. USD NOK, so the US dollar against the Norwegian krone. You probably don't look at this one very often, but today we have the Norwegian unemployment numbers coming out. So in a way, there could be a chance for maybe some sort of movement here, especially looking at this technical picture. We can see that the pair, on one hand, the pair kind of remains trading above this the very short-term upside support line taken from the low of the 19th of September. It's a quite a steep one, I would say, and on the other hand, it's struggling to kind of, let's say, create a higher high. Basically, that means we could see some sort of a breakout here soon, maybe. So, and why not today? If we have the unemployment figures from Norway, let's see how that's going to play out. Maybe it will be a market mover, maybe not. But like I said, something for you guys to keep an eye on. And the numbers are coming out this morning. So, yep, at around 8 o'clock GMT, if I'm not mistaken. So keep your eyes on that, guys. Like I said, if we see, for example, a push above the yesterday's high here near the 9.0957, then yes, of course, there's another obstacle to watch out for, and that's around the 9.1165, which is the high of the 23rd of September. But if that fails to withhold, well, this could be moving further north and aiming for the this little high here, the current highest point of September, and that's approximately around the 9.16 48.50 zone, so approximately around there. So keep your eyes on this one, guys. Like I said, for now, it's currently stuck here. We're gonna remain somewhat neutral, even though it is still within above this upside line. But anything can change. If data comes out good from Norway, we could see some strength here in the Norwegian krone, and we could see this one dropping here. And if we see a drop below this upside line, we'll wait for a clear move below the 9.05 80 zone, approximately around here, and then a break below this could open the path towards slightly lower areas. So for now, keep your eyes on this one. Could be quite an interesting one. Like I said, if you don't look at this one very often, so I do understand that, but we're always trying to find opportunities everywhere. So USDCHF continues to move nicely within this rising channel. Of course, this week the pair did try to, or should I say, the bears did try to break or push below this this lower side of the rising channel. Of course, they succeeded, but they never managed to close a daily candle below it. So basically, and of course, they never managed to drop, or should I say, close below this 0.9848 zone. I talked about this level previously when I was covering USDCHF, because this is what I was saying, that even though if we see a drop below the lower side of the rising channel, still for just for that extra confirmation, a nice good close below the 0.9848 zone could in a way do the trick here for more bears, and we could see more of them jumping in and driving this one towards the 0.9794 area, marked by the lows of the 29th of August and the 4th of September. So again, that never happened, as you can see, and the pair reversed to the upside, traveled higher, and managed to hit a nice resistance near the 0.9948 zone. So this is the level that we're going to be keeping a close eye on right now. If we get a nice push above this, this would confirm a new high for this week, and this could be opening the path towards the 0.9984 zone, which marks the high of the 18th of September. But if that is just seen as a temporary obstacle, then we could see this one drifting further north towards the or should I say, in the direction of the upper side of the rising channel. So keep your eyes on this one. For us, like I said, we'll consider the upside if we see that break here, and ideally if we see a close at least of a 4-hour candle above the 0.9948 zone, and like I said, then yep, we'll aim for higher levels. If this decides to reverse back down, we'll be very careful, very cautious here. Still, in order for us to consider further declines, still we need to see that drop below this 0.9848 zone. Of course, if at this point in time, I mean, if this suddenly, let's say, reverses back down, you could start looking at lower levels. If we see a break here below the 0.9886 area here, we could start considering further declines here. But again, this is a very strong level. Actually, let me even actually highlight it for our future reference. So yep, this is the level to watch out for, even though, like I said, yeah, we could see, let's say if this decides to reverse back down and drops below the lower side of the rising channel, and the drops below the 0.9886, still, yep, we need this break here below the 0.9848 before we could get comfortable with further declines. So keep your eyes on this one. And the last pair I wanted to quickly touch on, and that's euro dollar. Of course, finally we had our break here. We had our drop below the 1.0924 zone, but what's more important, we had a close of a daily candle. So basically, this is not looking good for the buyers here, because it increases the chances for further declines here. Now in terms of levels here below, so and for this one probably I'll jump into a daily chart here, as it will be easier. Now the first level that we're going to be keeping a close eye on, and let me just quickly probably drag it this way. This is the territory that we're going to be focusing on, and basically the more important level to watch could be around this 1 point this little low here, and that's around that's the low of the 10th of May, and that's approximately around the 1.0850 area, so approximately around there. Of course, the 11th, there we go, that the 11th of May of 2017, that's basically the low, that's around the 1.0840. Now, something to consider, guys, the 1.0840 could be a nice potential target initially, especially if it continues to drift further south here and drops below. And let me just actually jump back here into this chart. So there we go. The 1.0840, that's the level that we're going to be keeping a close eye on. We're going to get rid of this. This is not needed. And you can see that this could be opening the path towards that level for now. So for now, yes, it is trying to drift lower. It is trying to move to the downside. But to be honest, the 1.0840, even though it's a fantastic area of support, could be, probably could be a bit of a too big of a move here maybe for today, given the fact that we already had a strong decline this week. So but to be honest, let's see. Of course, for now, of course, we are aiming for the downside. Looking at what we're going to do probably instead here is we're going to target these S1 and S2 on the pivot points. So the S1 is currently around the 1.0894 zone, and the S2 is approximately around the 1.0872 zone. So these could be probably much better targets for today. We could keep the 1.0840 for next week if, let's say, this pair decides to travel a little bit lower, and let's say if it doesn't find a lot of selling interest here, because it could come under selling interest, but the question here is actually, could it bring the rate all the way here towards the 1.0840? And of course, we have seen strong moves on Fridays, don't get me wrong, but given the fact that we already had a strong decline, I would probably doubt that we may end up testing the 1.0840 level today. I could be wrong, but again, probably what we could do here is first, like I said, target the S1 and the S2, and that's approximately around the 1.0895-94 zone. The S1 is, and the S2 is approximately around the 1.0872. So keep your eyes on those levels. Of course, these could come first, and then we'll take it from there. We'll see what he wants to do after. I'll keep this one for our traders tea time. We'll have a look how it performed, and then we'll take it from there. If this suddenly, let's say, decides to reverse back above the 1.0924 zone, still we could consider basically a possible move like this here, where the the pair could drift a little bit higher, but if, let's say, it struggles to push above the 1.0964 zone, it could come under selling again here, and then, yep, we could see another slide. So for now, guys, keep your eyes on this. In terms of the upside here, we'll only consider higher levels if we see a push back above the 1.0964 initially, but just for that extra confirmation, a push above the 1.0983 zone, that's what we need in order to aim for this downside line here, taken from the high of June. So, okay, guys, I hope that wasn't too confusing, but again, for now, like I said, be very careful. It is trying to move lower. Of course, we do have the target of 1.0840 here, but it would be actually too big of a move, probably, maybe, to move towards that area. But then again, it's Friday, anything can happen here. On Fridays we do get sometimes huge moves in one direction, so that's why, guys, be very careful with this one. For now, you can see that it's drifting lower. It is trying to move further down. Let's see if it can reach the 1.0895 zone. Probably it will. And the next target for us is around the S2, which is around the 1.0872 zone. So keep your eyes on this one. Okay, guys, I really hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for sticking around and watching it till the end. If you want to join me later on at my trader's tea time, as always, that's 13:15 GMT. For now, I hope you have a beautiful trading day, and I'll see you later. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.